Hey guys, welcome back to Confident and Thriving podcast. So, today we are going to be talking about something that is possibly really holding you back from your desires, from you getting the desires of your heart. So, just because something didn't work out for you in the past, you didn't get the results that you wanted before, it does not mean that you can't. It does not mean that it is impossible. If you've experienced things like heartbreak, disappointment, failure, rejection, and that really shook your confidence, it really shook your self esteem, your self image, and your trust and belief in something that is possible, that when you even think about putting yourself out there again, you think about trying again, you think about maybe doing something different, that takes some courage, that takes some confidence. Your body hesitates. Your body thinks about that past experience and you relive it again. However, that desire is still there. That desire is still strong on your heart, it's pulling at your heartstrings. And because of that, this video is for you. This episode is for you because I know how it feels. I want you to be able to get the desires of your heart. You want to get the desires of your heart. And so today we are going to be talking about like why your past results, it does not predict future outcomes. It does not predict that it's going to happen again whatsoever. It does not predict what is possible for you next, right? Because so much different possibilities and outcomes is possible for you. The possibility of a win, a yes, of success is always available to you. It is always available to you. And so a lot of times, a lot of times what humans, what we do, and it's very natural, is that we take our past results and we place it onto our future outcome. We do this all in our head. But this is something that is seriously keeping most in bondage. It's keeping us most in bondage, and it really takes some true, deep inner work to be able to block out those memories of the past, those memories of what that past result caused, right? Because our body keep score, right? So if we've experienced like rejection, heartbreak, failure, that can sometimes be a very traumatic experience. And it causes trauma, emotional trauma, like within our body. And so let's say like when we've experienced a major heartbreak and we think about going to put ourselves out there again, we instantly think, oh my gosh, but what if I get heartbroken again? Our body goes back to that experience that we had of what that heartbreak felt like, right? The despair that it felt like, the hurt, the pain, the aches, the depression, the sadness, all of that. And that stops us from pursuing a desire to find love again. Or if you fail at accomplishing a major dream goal, right? What does failure cause? Sometimes it can make you feel rejected of just being you, that you wasn't a person that can have success, that can achieve this goal. It can be embarrassing. It can make you feel like something is wrong with you, wrong with your vision, wrong with your ideas, right? And so when we experience that failure, that can also feel like grief. That can also be aching. And so when we think about going to start a new business again, when we think about showing up online again, when we think about investing money again, if it didn't work out before, all of that pain that we felt is we feel it, we experience it all over again, and that immediately stops us from pursuit. That keeps us in bondage. It keeps us in lack of confidence. It keeps us in a lack of confidence because we can't trust what is possible for us. We can't trust ourselves to not have that experience again. And so, what oftentimes most say is that I can't go through that again. But here's the thing, yes, things can happen again. You can fail again. You can get heartbroken again. You can get embarrassed again. Those are life experiences. However, sometimes the things that is going to allow you to get different results in the future is these two things. It is doing different actions and being different. But what does being different? It means like being different mentally, being different energetically, your essence, your beliefs in yourself. Because a lot of times you can do the same actions, but if your belief system is the same, then you may get the same results as you did before. And just to give you just a quick example about what I mean by that. So, when I used to interview for jobs, I had this internal belief that it was always hard for me to get a job. So that whenever I would go apply for jobs and I would go on interviews, yes, I will do different actions. I will see what I learned from the previous role, see what I learned from the previous interview, and apply something different, say something different, and things like that. And yes, that worked eventually, but the belief system was that like it takes forever for me to find jobs. That is hard for me to find jobs. And that belief system was built around my self concept, was built around my self image. And so that, like those actions, it got me something different. It got me the job eventually, but the belief system kept me in that revolving door of it taking forever to get a job. And so once I got out of that belief system of it taking me forever to get a job, my belief started to say, oh, it's easy for me to get a job. It's easy. And then when I would go on an interview, I started realizing that my energy, my essence, everything was different. And so when I would start interviewing, within the second interview, I got the job. I never went past 2 or 3. And I realized that it wasn't the actions, it was some actions, but majority of it came from my energy. It came from my confidence, my trust, my belief system, my self concept, and oh, they're lucky to have me. Versus before, I wasn't thinking that I was good enough. That is one major thing. So, those are the two things that can absolutely change your future outcome. Is sometimes, yes, it does require different actions. And those future actions is really just taking results from the past and thinking, what can you do differently? Be like doing things differently. Absolutely. Because if you're doing the same thing over and you expect something different, that's like the definition of insanity. So, different actions, number one. And then the most important is being different, number two. And so that's where that inner work, that self confidence, that energy, that belief system work comes into play. One of the major things, like one of the major things that's going to elevate your confidence, elevate your how you see yourself and what's possible for you is your capacity to be able to take risks. And so we take risks every day, whether we know it or not. We risk either staying where we don't want to stay and we risk living in that life forever, or we risk taking the route of the unknown, the route that we truly desire, no matter how scary it is. When you allow yourself to take a risk, I already mentioned this, but is that you absolutely, yes, it is possible because this has happened to me. You absolutely will fail again, probably. You absolutely may get heartbroken. You absolutely may get rejected again. That is life, right? So that's the risk that you take. But guess what? You increase your opportunity, right? You give yourself possibility for something great to happen. So if you don't take the risk to try again because you're living in that past result, you're never going to know. You're never going to know if like your business could have actually succeeded. You're never going to know if you could have lost the weight or got the body that you you really desire to have. You're never going to know because possibilities don't open up when you are standing still. Movement is going to be in the name of the game for you to get a different result in the future. So, one of the greatest things that is going to be so beneficial to you, is going to do so much for your confidence while you are taking this risk again, because it is a risk that you're taking, right? Is going to be the usage of your imagination. This is such a key factor in how I've been able to put myself out there again, to try again, to show up again, to show up again in my business, to show up again online, to put myself out there again, no, countless times. It doesn't matter. This is something that's going to be crucial to you, the usage of your imagination. This is why you want to have vision boards, right? This is why visualization is so important. And it's not because like it's something, and it's not because, oh, like when you visualize something, something is just going to magically appear. No, it doesn't work like that. The reason why imagination and visualization is important is because what visualization does, it creates a feeling inside your body. It creates excitement. It creates anticipation, and it creates eagerness. It creates hope. It creates the vision, the idea of possibilities. When you can keep your vision on something that you're imagining to happen and it creates that excitement, your body naturally is going to be like pulled. It's like pulling you towards it. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to taste it. I have to taste it. I have to try it. I have to do it again because that reality just seems so juicy. It seems so pleasurable. It seems so within my reach. It seems so good that I can't even keep allowing like the past to slow me down, to stop me from getting that, right? And so visualization is key. It creates those feelings in your body when you can keep that place in your mind. This is why, again, those vision boards are important, because out of sight, out of mind. And when you can constantly look at something, it keeps that feeling stirred up inside of you. Another thing that happens is that when those feelings are stirred up inside of you, that you want to have, you want to taste again, that you want to feel that feeling, what this creates is movement. It creates movement. You start taking action. You start thinking of all the things that you can do, start planning. You start thinking about, oh, your creative ideas, the things that you can do differently. You start going out and getting dressed up again and start taking the action to eat better and work out again, or you start putting ideas together for your business. And if you want to create online, you start creating, you start doing things. This is what manifestation really is bringing what's in your mind to life, is bringing your imagination to life. And it doesn't just happen by just a simple thought. It doesn't just happen by the usage of your imagination. It's imagination plus action. It's imagination that causes those feelings, that empowers you to go. Feelings can be powerful. Is that frequency, is that energy that is going to drive you. However, it is you. It is your job. this is where the battle lies. This is where the battle lies. Your main job is to stay in that imagination and allow that imagination of what your future can be, what your future outcome can be, the experiences that you can have, the money that you can make, the relationship that you can have, the business, the goals that you desire to have, the success, the wins, the yes. It is your main job to keep that imagination, keep your eye, keep your mind here, and keep your past here. It is your job to separate, and not, it's your job to stay in that and not ruminate on past results. That is it. And that is inner work. That is a job in itself, because our mind can consistently bring, our mind literally repeats the past over and over and over again. So it takes intention to keep your mind inside your imagination. It takes effort. And this is why sometimes meditation is good. This is why vision boards is good. This is why daydreaming is good, because you want to keep your mindset on that vision instead of ruminating about the past. When you're thinking about, oh my gosh, this excitement, like, oh, like I can really have this business, like it can have this success, it's possible, it's hopeful, like I see it, I feel myself like in the presence of it, right? Whatever it is that you want to do, and then you feel it so deeply, but then you remember of when you tried and you failed, of when you tried and you got embarrassed and someone said I told you so, or you became broke. You remember that feeling, and that feeling will be like, that feeling will place in your mind, slow down. Don't get too excited, because remember what happened. That is what our mind is meant to do. Our brain is made to keep us safe. It is just trying to keep us safe at the end of the day. But safety, yeah, safety is good. We don't want to be in survival mode. Safety is good, but there is a time when safety is keeping you stuck. It is keeping you stuck. It is keeping you in low confidence. It is keeping you from living the life that you truly want to live, because you get to create it. You are empowered. You are a empowered woman. You have that power within you, that innate confidence that I talk about within you, that where you can get, that you get to create, right? You have life force in you. You get to create the reality that you truly desire. But again, our main job is allowing us to stay in that imagination. And when the past come up, you feel like, nope, forget you. Like you happen, but you don't have a say in what's for me. My future, my past does not have to repeat itself. Nope, absolutely not. So if this message, like if you feel this message and you're like, oh, girl, you're speaking to me, there's a version of you who is ready to move with a certain level of certainty, with a certain level of desire and self trust and excitement to do it again, to just show for yourself again without second guessing, without questioning yourself. If you are craving to feel that feeling again, I want to invite you. I have created a few courses. I'm still building some out. However, I have one course that is currently in the making that is going to be launching in February. It is called Personal Power Activation. And this course is literally designed to light that fire within you, to get you moving, to unleash that personal power within you again, and truly step back into that confidence that is within you, so that you can do what you need to do, take that risk, bet on yourself, show up how you want to show up, and whether it's relationships, your career, your business. And so that course, I created that course, is going to be launching in February. So if that is something that is speaking to you, then I'm going to put the link in the description box. I currently have it on a pre-sale price right now, which is honestly really amazing. I also have another course that is out. It's called the Self Image Repair and Reboot. After you experience rejection and heartbreak. So I created this course after going through a heartbreak, and I needed to repair my self image and my confidence like drastically. And so with the heartbreak, I realized that it can truly feel like failure. And so I thought about all of the things that I had to overcome past failure, past heartbreaks, past experiences of rejection, and how I was able to repair my self image and my confidence. And I did it all in that moment, and it got me back. And so I put all of this inside of a course. And so this can be really good for you if maybe you're scared to try again because you failed. Your confidence took a hit. Your self image took a hit because you failed at something. You've been rejected countless times. Or you just experiencing that heartbreak that feels like it all. Then this is a course that is already open and available that you can go ahead and get started. I believe is 14 days, a 14-day course. I believe it's, yeah, 14 days is a 14-day course that is going to repair and reboot your self image with some inner work and external work. So I'm also going to put the link in the description box as well. Also, I know it's a lot today, but also I finally opened up my slot for one-on-one coaching. So the courses are very much self-paced, but if you are someone who is looking for a very VIP experience where you get to have someone with you hands-on, personalizing your coaching experience to your own unique needs, then the one-on-one sessions will be available for you. I currently have is either you can book like one at a time, or I have a slot open for a 6 week commitment, which I recommend that one because that shows that you are very serious and dedicated to you, to leveling you up and taking care of you. And so I'm going to go ahead and put all of the links in the description box for you to have. I've learned something recently that made me look at, I'm Christian, that made me look at when they say, oh, the devil's like trying to like play with your mind, or the devil's trying to attack you or whatever. I've learned something recently that actually changed my perspective of certain things. And it was like the devil is just doing his job at the end of the day, right? You are doing your job, like good and evil, bad versus good, whatever, right? There's always going to be duality. There's always going to be opposing factors that is trying to pull you this way and is also trying to pull you this way, right? And so the devil is, you can look at it as this is your brain trying to keep you safe, or this is however. But I look at it as, okay, when I start thinking about like past results, oh, that scares me, that slows me down, that makes me like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I can do that again because I remember when this happened, I remember when this happened, it didn't feel great. I remind myself now, and I look at it as the devil's just doing his job, right? Or my brain is just doing its job to keep me safe. The devil is just doing his job to distract me, to keep me in fear, right? They're just doing their job. What is your job? Your job is to imagine. Your job is to show up for you. Your job is to fill your confidence tank. Your job is to build your confidence muscle. Your job is to do it again, to take the rest of that on yourself. Your job is to live in your purpose and to become your best self. So, why do they do this? Sorry, guys, if you hear something, they are, I don't know, doing like landscaping stuff like outside. So, I hope you can hear that. But, anyways, but that's your job. Your second main job while you are taking this risk, that's going to help you get that desired results that you want, is to not tie your past results to your identity, to your self image. And so this is so crucial, right? Is being able to separate your identity from your past, to separate your self image, your worth from your results. That can be a hard thing to do, right? So, what I mean by that is, for example, maybe you felt like you failed. Maybe you felt like you didn't succeed in something that you wanted to achieve because you don't know enough, because there's something about you that isn't good enough to be successful, or that you're not a disciplined person, or that you're not a smart person, right? You're tying that past result to your identity, but it's keeping you disempowered. It's keeping you disempowered. Instead, what your job is to do is to empower yourself by changing the meaning of that result. So instead of saying that you failed because you're not a smart person, or you're not a person who's disciplined, you're not a successful person, how about maybe changing the meaning of it and saying that, oh, I failed in achieving that goal because I simply needed to learn something. I needed to learn something so that I can either teach other people, to teach other people what not to do. I failed in that because maybe I wasn't who I needed to be to hold it in that moment, to keep it to in that moment, but now I am. And so you get to change the meaning of things. That is your job, is to not tie it to your identity, but change it to something that is more empowering. Another example is, oh, my relationship didn't work out because my relationships in the past didn't work out because I wasn't good enough for them to stay. I wasn't good enough. That's disempowering. Of course, you're not going to want to try again because you don't want to continue to feel not good enough because you think that someone's going to leave you again. But these things honestly create self-fulfilling prophecy. That is a whole nother like episode I can honestly talk about. But I'm not going to talk too much about that. However, when you stay in that disempowered state, then you take certain actions that keep you in a disempowered state and get in the results that you don't want. But you can empower yourself and say, oh, those relationships didn't work because they just wasn't meant for me. Or I needed to learn something. Or they were going to stop me from becoming who I need to be. Whatever. The point is, you want to create a story about it that empowers you. You want to create a story about it that empowers you, that gives you life, that gives your worth, that makes you feel good enough, right? That is a point. That is your job, is to not tie your past results to your identity and your self-worth, your self-image in a negative way, a disempowering way. Because when you can change it, then you get to go towards things differently. Now you get to show up in your business differently because those past results wasn't about you not being good enough. It's just that you didn't know something that now you know. And so now you get to go again because that's not you. And so your third job is to take those past results, not live in the past, like to take those past results that happen and learn from it. I already said this before, but just to reiterate, this is your job, is to learn from it, to either do two different things. You either take, actually do these together, to either take different actions and or change who you need to be, who you need to embody. New energy, right? When you become different, you automatically change your future. Your future can't stay the same. Your future outcome, those results that you want, that you think is going to happen again, it can't happen again. Not in the way that you're expecting it to, because you're different, because you are different. So you're naturally going to show up different, right? You're naturally going to show up different in a relationship. Even if it failed, it won't fail because of the same reason, right? Because you're different. You're naturally going to show up different. You're going to put different effort. Your belief system is different, right? So you're going to take different action. So you're creating different. And so your job, your third job, is really to just learn from the past and decide, how can I be different? How can I do different? And those two combinations together, your future outcome can't have it can't the past cannot repeat itself, not in the same way. So your past results do not predict your future outcome. It does not. It does not determine the possibilities you have. It doesn't. Just simply remember this: you are always risking something. You are either risking, like, staying the same, having the same results, staying in that same state of confidence, level of confidence, staying in that same state of mind, staying in the same self concept, self esteem, self image. That is a risk. Or you risk doing things to level you up. Everything is a risk. It may not feel like it. Like, you not investing in yourself, you not betting on yourself, it may feel safe and it may not feel like a risk, but it is a risk. It's a risk that you're taking. And so take the risk. Go at it again. Bet on yourself again. Show up again. Try it again. Invest again. Date again. Put yourself out there again. Like, you are worth the risk. Your past results does not predict your future outcome at all. This time gets to be different. This time will be different. When you can be different, there's no chance that you will have the same outcome, right? New beliefs, new mindset, new energy, new you. New you automatically creates a different result. It creates automatically a different pathway in your life, even if you can't see it now. That's exactly what is happening. Things are happening in the unseen, okay? And that is a level of confidence that I want you guys to get to, is starting to believe in the unseen, which is really just trust and faith, right? And so that is it for today's episode of Confident and Thriving. All of the links to the offers that I mentioned is going to be in the show notes for those who are listening on just podcasting platform, and in the description box on YouTube. All right, ladies, that is it for today's episode, and I will see you next time. Bye.